Friday morning in Baton Rouge. Live show LSU Odyssey was actually able to break concerning some of the failures of the Brian Kelly era, and that's reporting that we can stand on. Oh God, there's our voice again. And I think this might be the worst. I think this might be the worst of any news that we've heard of how Brian Kelly operated his regime, his group of staffers, his rosters, how he ran his team, how he ran his squads during those seasons was nothing short of absolutely abysmal. But it more than like there being an abysmal nature to it, as far as like results and meeting expectations. And he did really good in year one. We got to say that. We got to give him flowers for that. But like all in all, what could have been and what wasn't, it really bases on one thing for me when it comes to Brian Kelly, and it's how Brian Kelly just doesn't give a shit about people, it seems. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there's someone who can say, Lon, you're wrong about that. I have a story, a personal story of how he looked out for me and how he cared for me and how he was so good to me and all. But here's the thing. Your story would be far outnumbered by all of the other bullshit we've heard him pull off. And I'm not talking about shoveling snow. I'm not talking about shoveling snow. I'm talking about serious, serious stuff when it comes to players' injuries, when it comes to all manner of issues. And we're not even thinking of, can you believe it? A player of yours had a brain tumor. A brain tumor. Had the same symptoms for about 10 months. And there was never even a question, never anything looked into. Diabolical when it comes to Greg Brooks Jr. You had a player play multiple games with a brain tumor for you. However you feel about his dad, Greg Brooks Jr., Greg Brooks Jr.'s father, Greg Brooks Sr., however you feel about that situation in the aftermath of what happened, you cannot deny that there's something wrong when you have a player playing for your team with a brain tumor and has had those type of symptoms for that long and you could not catch it. There are other players that I could share the stories of. In fact, I just got a message back asking if someone would go on the record about their own personal experiences with their son through the Brian Kelly era. But there's so many of these overlooked injuries, overlooked issues, and now we've got more. We've got way more than we were bargaining for, way more than we were thinking could be possible. I mean, this is nuts to me. Okay. Former LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier battled a mysterious abdominal injury throughout the 2025 season, which is an injury that only LSU Odyssey reported at the time. We can prove that right now. If anyone debates that, we are the only one to actually report that news at the time. Let's see here. And you don't have to take it from my words. You can take it from the words of Mr. Todd Horn from Tiger Droppings when he was doing we were doing a show together, and he brought up the fact that we were the only one who reported Garrett Nussmeier was injured. Let me know if you can hear that. Did you just hear that last little clip? Can you hear them talking? Let me know if you can. See, Todd making that joke. Can anyone hear that? Last little clip. Let me see if we can actually hear this. Nah, no one can hear that shit. I don't know how we can get that clip to work. Either way, you, people know that for a fact that we were we'll show that some other point. Sorry about that. That was a complete failure on our part to not have. I don't know why the audio won't work on that, but we should probably stop using Safari. My God, it doesn't let us seem to share anything that where the volume actually works. Bizarre. Hey, either way, let's go back to that NOLA article and continue where we were. I just wanted to get that in that, hey, this is the place, man. This is the place that was the only place that really actually reported Nussmeier was even hurt. And that, I think any other entity would be actually advertising that even harder. So I'm going to advertise that as much as I can because we're the only ones to this story. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I knew he was hurt. I knew he was hurt." Then how come so many of you? I have DMs and denials from so many of you saying that you're full of shit, Lon, and I can retweet all of them. I can show all of them. Now that I got my account back, like we can really dig deep here. It says former LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier battled a mysterious abdominal injury throughout the 2025 season, and now he's reportedly found some clarity on what caused the pertinent issue. The persistent issue. The NFL Network reported Monday that, and it was Tom Pelissero, that Nussmeier discovered he had a cyst on his spine at the NFL Scouting Combine in late February. The cyst, according to the report, has been pressing on a nerve and causing pain in his oblique. Nussmeier has not felt discomfort throughout his prep for the 2026 NFL Draft, which begins Thursday. If the plane flares up again in the future, he could undergo a minimally invasive procedure to remove the cyst, according to the report, and that surgery would sideline him for only about 2 or 3 weeks. On March 23rd, after the LSU Pro Day, Nussmeier declined to describe his injury in detail. He called it a freak deal. Okay. Okay. I mean, how many times is this going to happen where the Brian Kelly saga that was that cost LSU $100 million, the Brian Kelly project that cost LSU probably 500 plus million, and 5 years of the time for LSU and the fan base and everybody to suffer through, cost us God knows how many recruits. That whole era was basically for nothing. So many wasted players of that time, of that era, of that ilk who really top guys who you'll probably be seeing them play on Sunday somewhere. You know, that's no crazy thing to say that you'll probably be seeing some of these guys playing on Sundays for a while here. And a lot of those guys were wasted completely by Brian Kelly. And beyond just being wasted and beyond having no relationship or attachment to any of these players whatsoever, it was very transactional. Beyond all of that, and I'm sure there's some rare instances where he had a close relationship with a player, like a Kyron Lacey. But too many times I heard from parents saying, we can't even meet this guy. Too many times I heard from my parents that he's like, it's like Elvis came into the building. He's so, he's got security around him at a family event, like, and no one can go up there and talk to him. and a very kind of like intimidating fuck off type of presence. He just didn't really give a shit about LSU, Louisiana, or the people. And when you see microscopically how this was dealt with, it's shocking. And here's the thing, it's not just Brian Kelly. Because yes, this is a pattern under Brian Kelly, but it's also a pattern under LSU. We got to be real here, everybody. LSU's medical team, medical department, medical liaisons, Our Lady of the Lake Hospital, all of that, like, axis. I know I'm going to get in so much trouble. People are going to hate me for saying this, but we are fucking up royally with some of these things. I mean, Greg Brooks Jr. having a brain tumor, and we never once, I mean, that's kind of on the coaching staff for not taking him in there and having a good scan. We also know his surgery was botched, according to the family's lawsuit, by a inexperienced and unqualified surgeon who screwed up his surgery, according to the lawsuit. And I have so much information, so many different stories of players, and this has been confirmed by some of the teams that these players transfer to. I've been able to talk to the specialists, some of the doctors who saw these players after they came from LSU, and they went, "Oh my God, how are you even walking right now?" That was for one of them. For another, it was like, "Dude, you're not going to be able to play football again." And luckily, he overcame that. And there was another that was just absolutely horrifying, and somehow that kid turned into a top round draft pick, and by the grace of God. And there was others that LSU would get rid of, like Antoine Sampa or Philip Webb, based on concussion issues or other injury issues due to insurance reasons. So, I mean, it makes no sense. Very cautious with a few guys, not cautious at all with most. And this has been a recurring theme with LSU's medical department. You screwed up with multiple guys here, with not finding core issues that are right. I mean, a cyst on his spine, you're doing how many medical evaluations and scans on Nuss abdominal area, in that area? Surely you're going to look at that back, that spine, or at least be able to see it on a scan. These, I mean, I once again, I am not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor or have any medical knowledge. But when people I know who do look at this situation and are horrified, even more than the fan base is, that tells me a lot. That tells me that as a journalist, as someone who likes to get to the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is, that's something that I need to find out about, because this can never happen again. And the problem is, you can't just get rid of the medical staff like that. Like, soccer teams, these football clubs around the world, when a new manager comes in to take over, like Liverpool or my team, Barcelona, they go, "You know what? I don't really like your medical staff, your training staff, all these guys working on the players and stuff. This stuff is so serious. I have a certain way of playing that's going to do this and this for the bodies of these players. My guys know how to deal with that and know how to treat that. I'm going to bring in the guys I know who already, I don't have to even teach them anything. They've been with me for years. We're going to bring them in. They're going to do this." I hope Lane Kiffin can do that in some ways with the medical staff, the training team, that since his arrival. I wonder how much that has changed, because LSU, man, we're going to be in a lot more of these, 88, 90 play games, hopefully just on our side of the ball offensively, but at least it's going to be fast-paced football in the Kiffin era. It's going to be rough and tumble and hellish on the body. And you need to prepare for that. You need to have guys ready for that. And I hope there is a training staff that is in place to do that, because this training staff I shouldn't say this training staff, but, well, you can with the last regime, with Kelly's regime, but I don't know much about this current training staff under Lane Kiffin. I've heard that they're awesome. A few players just told me they were awesome. They were bringing the best out of them. and a few things that were kind of digs at the old regime that I won't really repeat out of respect, but basically saying these guys are getting way more out of us, taking me up to that next level, whereas the other guys are kind of just maybe pussyfooting around. But how do you drop the ball on this situation? He is your star quarterback. He's in immense pain in that area. Whether he can identify the area, the location of the pain or not, you know it's in this abdominal area. Can't you just be looking everywhere? I don't know how you missed this. I don't know how you screwed this up. I don't know how it takes clear until he's in the NFL draft process. We are what? Days away from the NFL draft. And he is finally receiving clarity on where that injury is located. That is a terrible, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That is a terrible advertisement for players who want to come to LSU. Because we need to be able to look parents in the eye and say, we will be able to take care of your babies. We will be able to take care of your kids. If he does have the worst thing happen to him imaginable and it does impact his career, okay. But we are going to make sure that he comes back to you healthy and whole, and there's no long-term issues from this as much as we can control. You do know football is a violent sport. You know how horrible these things can be. But as much as we can control, there will be no malpractice. There will be no anything, oversight, slipping, or anything. We are going to, your babies are our number one priority. If we have to work all weekend, if we have to stay up all night, if we have to do this, we have to watch them go to sleep in little 10-minute periods because they've had a serious concussion. We don't want anything bad to happen by letting them slip into sleep for too long. Whatever the situation is, we've got to have secondary staffers or whoever doing these really and when you're talking about 80 plus players on a team, it is tedious to go guy to guy to guy and check up on them, see how they're doing health wise. This is your job. You've got to do it. I hope Kiffin and his crew are really taking care of their players. From what I've heard, they have been a lot. They feel closer to the coach more, even if, maybe they see Kiffin, and have a conversation with him once every other day. There's still way more activity and way more invitation for a good time from Lane Kiffin to any of his players, regardless of position, star power, or rating. Sorry, having to reply to this message I just got from someone we talked to who had a boy who played at LSU and very close to the situation, knew the situation inside and out. And when they told me some of the stuff they told me about how things were going with the medical staff, I was just stunned. And then when you hear from coaches or doctors, trainers at other schools, literally telling me, I haven't seen an injury this horrible, or I haven't seen it look this bad, or oh my gosh, his knee was in such a bad situation. It was such a bad place. I can't believe that he's even able to play. These certain things where it's like they didn't even take care of the situation. They left this player in almost like tatters. It's stunning to me. And this is LSU. We must be better than this, top to bottom. And I'm not saying I'm looking for someone to blame. Hey, you got to blame. Blah, blah. This is a fucking pattern, and you can't tell me it isn't. And it pisses me off. As someone who actually cares about these kids, about their parents, about their families, about their future. I take this shit personally. When you are charged, you accept that responsibility. You willingly go out of your way to claim that responsibility that I will look after your babies, and then you do what you did to Greg Brooks Jr. You do what you did to Garrett Nussmeier. You do what you did to Declan Sullivan, who wasn't even one of your players years before. And then you go, and then here's the thing that pisses me off too. And then Brian Kelly dares to go on CBS. Dares to go on CBS, Brian Kelly. And literally talk about these players as if they're his own and they all love him and they're under the umbrella of Kelly. And Brian Kelly was, their guru, and Brian Kelly was their master, their motivating force, their lion, in the foxhole with his players, No. No, 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 no. Brian Kelly never gave a fuck. A legitimate fuck about half of these kids. I think he loved Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels won a Heisman Trophy that then Brian Kelly could claim as his own. But do you think Brian Kelly really gave two shits or took a second, maybe third thought about Greg Brooks Jr.'s nagging months-long headaches where he's wearing sunglasses in dark rooms? It's the middle of summer. His friends want him to hang out. He can barely go outside. And then, they go away and things are okay. And then they attack like crazy out of nowhere. Pain so bad that his body is literally shaking. They wonder if he's about to have a seizure, but then he's able to calm it down because he's so used to it. But the headaches, the migraines are so bad that he can't even, literally can't even open his eyes, can't see. And you're going to tell me that, vertigo. He's got vertigo. Haven't you seen the Hitchcock movie? It's some painful shit, dude. Okay? It's vertigo, bro. The vertigo thing, I mean, it's embarrassing. It's disgraceful to go up there he has vertigo. I don't know. What do you guys all think about this? Do you guys think that LSU's medical team is to blame? Do you think this is a pattern of them dropping the ball? Do you think this is more to go with how Brian Kelly mismanaged his staff, mismanaged his squad, mismanaged the university that was the program that was basically under his control at that point? I mean, he basically could get anything he wanted, any type of funding, anything he wanted, Brian Kelly got. But I guess decent, brain scans for Greg Brooks Jr., decent abdominal scans, and actually taking care of your starting quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, were just not on the priorities list. I guess that just wasn't there. This is a very dark chapter in LSU history. I don't think you guys realize that much. Do you guys realize that? Do you guys understand how dark this era of LSU football actually will be remembered someday. Like, this is bad. This is bad. This is horrible. It stinks to high hell. High heaven? No. High hell. Because there's nothing that's holy or decent about any of this situation. This was a nighttime graveyard train robbery by Brian Kelly. And the second he had that money in his hand, he didn't give a shit. He was done. He was golfing. He was screwing someone else's wife. He was doing all sorts of shit. He was filing for divorce against his wife in public, in a filing actual documents. And then when Tiger Rag reported on that, he not only went at Tiger Rag, but literally tried to crush them. Called it fake news for reporting documents he filed. And then the fan base went along with it, though. I got to say that. The fan base went along with Brian Kelly's fake news bullshit of him and Packy arm in arm in a booth at some restaurant. The dude filed the papers. He filed the documents, including a restraining order against his wife. Like, Tiger Rag can't just forge these documents. I guess they could, but no one ever accused them of doing that. Everyone knew those were legitimate. So I'm just saying that, we had a role to play in this guy being able to suspend reality, to think he was bigger than anything else. People like me in the media sometimes pumped Brian Kelly up more than he deserved. I mean, I like to think that I went hard at Brian Kelly more than pretty much anyone in the media out there. But there were times that maybe I gave him a rim job, writing more than I thought I did. Maybe I gave him way too much love and credit than I should have. I just tried to call it as I saw it, moment to moment, game to game, and that's why people would, I'm on your side now. Your great opinions, and then 5 days later, I hate you. How dare you? I'm gonna unfollow you and get out of my face. Oh my God, I'm gonna unsubscribe because you had an opinion that is now different. We let this Brian Kelly guy come in, divide the fan base, divide our team, completely screw up multiple injury, season-ending injury issues that, you could also say career-threatening injury issues, and then a life-threatening sickness and illness. The dude had a cancerous brain tumor. And then he dares to go on CBS in the pre-draft, in their pre-draft coverage, and claim that he's the guy behind it all. He's the guy. Nussmeyer, Berrien Brown, Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, all these guys he's going to claim all the love for, all the credit for. And just look at how many season-ending injuries LSU have had over the years too, in these last, just the post-2019 era. Okay, we're talking a lot. Harold Perkins had one. Whit Weeks had one. West Weeks had one. Gabe Relaford has had two. John Emery Jr. has had two. That's 7 now, just right off the top of my head. Chris Hilton Jr. with 1. Mason Smith with 1. There's a ton of them. I'm missing a few of them here. Oh, Garrett Dellinger, that's 10. Who else did you lose? Who else did you lose? Miles Brennan. That's another one from the post 2019 era. That's 11. Terrace Marshall went down for the season at one point. Kayshon Boutte went out for the season in 2021. I mean, it's ridiculous how many guys have gone out for the season, suffered season-ending injuries. Derek Stingley Jr. had a season-ending injury. Andre Anthony had a season-ending injury in a game where he had a pick six. Like, finally putting that season together. Then he has a torn ACL. Like, fuck that. Like, Andre Anthony deserves so much better than that bullshit story, you know? I mean, I'm sure Andre Anthony, he's a great human being. I'm sure he's going to be doing great no matter where he is, but that guy was a football player and he was ready to have that dominant season. Derek Stingley Jr. was too. He barely starts kind of getting into the flow of 2021. Then he gets hurt. It's unreal how many injury problems LSU have had over the last 6 years. Paul Tarver, what's up, Paul? One of our favorite people in the house. We're going to give you a big time shout out here, buddy, because you seriously are always a dedicated viewer. You're always commenting the most hilarious shit. You're getting me going. You're getting me going down these rabbit holes, brother. You're getting me going, getting me a little jazzed up and a little crazed. Fucking love you, Paul. Anyway, Paul Tarver says, shocking bomb dropped on Nuss and family 3 days before NFL draft. Would be interesting to know if this cyst is the type that grows but so small last August it was missed. I mean, if they found it, it's there. And you should have been able to find it too. I'm just alarmed at this whole situation. I just think Garrett Nussmeier deserved a lot better than this crap. So did Greg Brooks Jr. with his brain tumor. So did numerous other players who had these injuries where it was like, God, why? What the hell happened? Why did you not have the respect, the decency, the humanity? You know, and there was lies about Brian Kelly as far as his treatment with Greg Brooks Jr. Greg Brooks Sr. said that he wasn't there at the hospital. He never visited. That was a lie. That was a straight up lie. We were able to talk on the record with former LSU safeties coach Kerry Cooks, a good buddy of ours, who said that he's not going to lie for Coach Kelly at this point. Let me just be real with you. Yes, him and Kelly coached at a few different spots together, but Notre Dame and LSU. But he's not going to lie for Coach Kelly at this point. He's not going to lie for a guy who fired him, right? Okay, but Coach Cooks said that Brian Kelly did visit in the hospital, did visit Greg Brooks Jr. in the hospital multiple times. And he moved to, he had to move to Houston for specialist treatment pretty quick in the process, too. It's not like they were like able to go for months. This was a thing that had to move quickly. I'm not exactly sure on that timeline, but it wasn't like they had, a couple months to go and visit him in the Baton Rouge, Our Lady of the Lake Hospital. So he was quite a ways away at one point. But hey, anytime they were in Houston, which they were for the bowl games during that period of time, they were visiting him. Jaden Daniels always wearing those shirts. Malik Neighbors always wearing those shirts. All these guys who were really good friends with Greg Brooks Jr. were repping him nonstop. Major Burns, Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, all these guys. Just a lot of players that I really like as people from that era who I think were so hard done by and so screwed by the Kelly era, by the end of the Orgeron era. And I just, man, they deserved coaches who cared as much as Lane Kiffin does. Like Lane Kiffin might not win for a few years at LSU. But if he continues to work like this, I don't want that dude going anywhere. Because, I mean, this is some Office Max type of shit. This is office to the max type shit. This is some medieval work ethic. And we're just not used to it as LSU fans. We love to see that, oh my God, someone loves LSU as much as we do. This is incredible. Oh, wow, he might like it as much as we do. Oh my God, he's proving it. Ooh, shit, he might like it more. Whoa, what's going on here? Like, this guy is up at 4 in the morning. He's in the LSU ops. I love it. Well, guys, that was kind of the show for today. We will have more with updates about LSU's spring camp, because there's a lot that I need to update you on. We might write that in an article, because there's some I was saying about it earlier, and let's just say there's a theme that's going to have to continue, sadly. But we'll update you on that with LSU's 2026 spring camp entering its final week. So, everybody, thank you so much for checking this show out. And if you definitely could help us out, subscribe at LSUOdyssey.com/subscribe, or do that as well. And then follow us on X at Lon Phillips, on Instagram at LSU Odyssey Lawn. We're going live here on Instagram right now, as well as X, as well as YouTube, and of course at the main hub, always on, no matter where you view things. If you want to find what we're doing, it's on LSUOdyssey.com, no matter what. LSUOdyssey.com. Check us out there. Subscribe. Help us get down to be able to cover these things more. Help us get down to Louisiana. Help support what we are able to build, because you know what? I think we're just so close to that threshold of just turning this into the infinity machine, and I want all of you to be on that ride with us. So everybody, thank you so much. All systems go, baby. This is Lon Phillips Sullivan, your LSU Odyssey's chief butthead operator, and I want to thank you all. Go Tigers, baby.